Hi, welcome to Discover Your Life Today YouTube channel. My name is Maveen Kaura. I am from discoveryourlifetoday.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to lose 10 pounds in 6 weeks with no exercise. I know you might be saying, well, that's not possible. It is definitely possible. I've taken this idea from Tim Ferriss, from the book, 4-Hour Body. I did implement a lot of what Tim Ferriss talks about in that book and was able to find that success for myself, just as he says. I wanted to share my story as well as kind of what's in the book with you so you can also achieve that type of results. You can actually read a little bit about what I'm going to be talking about at discoveryourlifetoday.com/10 pounds in 6 weeks with no exercise. So if you put that into the search bar or just type that into the URL, you'll be able to go ahead and find this article as well. So what I want to do is get started and just let you know a little bit about where I started, what I did, and what my results were after I was completed the 6 weeks. So what you can do is you can change your life by changing your diet. That's right. So if you're not going to exercise, you have to change something to get those results. So you must change your diet. And I really understand what kind of diet you need to eat. So can you lose 6 pounds in 6 weeks? 10 pounds in 6 weeks with no exercise? I believe you can. The results are probably not typical for everybody. Again, it's going to depend. When I started this, I was 170 pounds. I was able to go to 159 pounds and some odd ounces here. But I believe the heavier you are, the more weight you can definitely lose on this type of diet. This is called the slow carb diet that Tim Ferriss talks about in his book, The 4-Hour Body. So I believe you can get this. I had lost actually 6% of my body weight during this 6 weeks. So, I think that you're able to do the same thing. If you have an opportunity, definitely pick up the book 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss. I actually went over to my Audible. I listened to the book on Audible, took my notes on what I was listening to on Audible. I just found it an easier way to consume that information versus reading that book. There's no right or wrong way. Just figure out what is right for you. Okay, so before I started the 6-week slow carb diet, what I did was actually I measured everything. So I measured my shoulders across all the way around, my chest, my biceps. I measured my belly, my hips, my thighs, and my calves. I weighed 170 pounds or 77.11 kilos. So what I did was every single morning I woke up, just as Tim said, drink 1 liter of cold water within 60 minutes of waking up. Make sure I'm also eating breakfast. What I did was I tried to stick to eating 4 to 6 meals every single day and having a meal every 3 to 4 hours. In the book, The 4-Hour Body, Tim Ferriss says, avoid foods such as white carbohydrates, breads, all rice, cereals, pastas, fried food, tortilla shells, and potatoes. Do not drink your calories, instead drink a lot of water. So this means don't drink pop, don't drink juice, don't drink milk. Interesting enough, Tim Ferriss found when he did this, and I found the same type of results, that he was able to drink 8 ounces of red wine every single night with his meal if he chose to. I didn't drink it with every single meal. I did have a glass of wine here and there, but he never had white wine and no beer at all. I'm assuming that also goes for liqueurs such as hard liquors and whatnot as well, like vodka and rums. Do not eat fruit. So like apples and bananas, they're very good for you sometimes, but they're also full of sugar, natural sugars that are going to take away from the slow carb diet and the results that we're hoping to achieve. Tomatoes are okay, avocados are fine to eat, but make sure you're eating them in moderations. And if you're going to eat chicken, which is definitely a lean protein, make sure you're avoiding the chicken legs as well as chicken wings, especially fried chicken wings, although very tasty. There are some supplements that Tim Ferriss talks about in the 4-hour body that are recommended, such as calcium, potassium, and magnesium. Also vitamin B and garlic extract. I also picked up these different vitamins and minerals and started to take them as well. I found that the magnesium and calcium mix really helped clean my intestines and internals out, and gave me better bowel movements as well. So I was able to process that food that I was eating a lot better as well. So he also talks about in his book the foods that you should be eating, and these are the foods that I stuck to eating the most as possible. Now, keep in mind, when you have these foods, you do definitely want to meal prep so you're successful at meal prepping, and then, you know, make sure that you're finding different combinations that really work for you, but stay within your fats, carbohydrates, and allowed proteins as well, based on whatever your body's goals are. And you can always figure out what that is by going and finding a calculator online that'll help you figure out how much you should be eating. So the foods that he suggested was beef, fish, so fish such as salmon, halibut, sardines, and canned mackerel, pork, legumes such as lentils, black beans, pinto beans, red kidney beans, soybeans, and black-eyed peas. I just stay away from soybeans personally. I'm not really a fan of them, but it's up to you. You know, you can choose to eat one of those legumes, or you can eat a variety of those ones we just mentioned. Definitely vegetables are great. So spinach, mixed vegetables, sauerkraut, kimchi, asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, peas, and green beans. Nuts are good as well, but in moderation. Keep in mind, you can definitely eat a lot of nuts like almonds and Brazilian nuts and peanuts, but they are very calorie dense as well. So although you can eat a lot of them and enjoy feeling full, if you eat too many of them, you know, you can consume a lot of calories without even thinking about it. So things like pumpkin seeds, peanuts, almonds, Brazilian nuts, and cashews, you know, keep them on hand. Eat them only if you're super hungry and in between meals. You can definitely eat cottage cheese. So that was one of the only dairies that Tim Ferriss talks about in the 4-hour body that is okay to eat. No milk and no cheese, no other cheese other than that. Probably cottage cheese is because of how long it takes your body to break down, as well as it keeps you fuller for a longer period of time. On your cheat days, you can definitely have something like kombucha or a yerba mate tea. It's great to have as well. It helps kind of add that probiotics into your body. It helps kind of clean out your digestive system as well. Definitely keep a lot of water on hand. You want to probably drink between 2 to 4 liters of water a day, especially if you're working out. I drank a lot of matcha tea as well, because matcha tea has so many other health benefits as well that I found it just such a great refreshing drink, because sometimes you drink too much water and you just kind of get bored of it as well. You can have black coffee. I'm not a big coffee drinker, although I did have a bulletproof coffee every so often, but I did stay within my fat allowance as well, because in a bulletproof coffee, typically you are adding butter or an MCT oil or a coconut oil of some sort, so you are adding that fat in there as well, so just be careful. So really, if you take a look at all the food that we've talked about, the best option if you're going to be eating out of your home is to stick to something like Mexican food. It is the best option on a slow carb diet. So when I started this, I really started to figure out how to meal plan and how to meal prep this so I can lose the weight that Tim was talking about. Not that I was overweight at 170 pounds. I just really wanted to see if what he's talking about in his book actually works. So what I did was I started off by developing myself a meal plan and a menu. What I did was do my best to stick to that meal plan and menu. On Tuesdays, I am a vegetarian. I do not eat any meat. I'm not vegan, so I will eat cheese typically on a Tuesday if I choose to, and other vegan but vegetarian friendly options. Typically for breakfast, I ate something like eggs, veggies, and beans. For lunch, what I would typically eat would be something like a beef, a chicken, fish, veggies, and beans. At supper, I would go for like a salad, a meat option, beans, and a lentil soup. So you can see that a lot of my meals were with beans. Now, I'm not saying that you need to eat beans with every meal. It just keeps you fuller for a longer period of time. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, what if I get gassy? Because if I'm eating that many beans, I might get gassy. And you're probably right. If you eat too many beans, you can get gassy. But what I found was, if I was making dry beans, I would actually soak them overnight and add a little bit of salt in the water. It's gonna help take out all those starches that make you gassy. If I was buying canned beans, what I would do is I'd empty it into a strainer and just give it a good wash as well and get all that starch off the beans itself. And then I noticed that, I wasn't as gassy as I thought I would be. And, it actually wasn't a bad experience eating beans every single day. So if you're eating a salad, I know some people say, well, I need salad dressing with my salad. So sure, that can happen sometimes. What Tim Ferriss suggests in the book, and what I did as well, was I had a little bit of balsamic vinegar. What I would do is take a little bit of garlic powder and put that and mix it together. And I just put that on my salad, just sparsely, and just eat that as I needed to. Now, the idea here is if you're eating the right amount of food every single 3 to 4 hours, you'll notice that you're not going to need to eat any snacks in between. If you notice that you're getting hungry in between meals, then one, you're not eating enough food. So what you can do in between is maybe eat a few carrots, have a few nuts that we talked about earlier, and just eat a little bit, just enough to carry you to the next meal. If your next meal is, let's say, within 30 minutes and you're hungry, just eat your next meal right now, and it's probably your best bet. Just monitor that you're not actually thirsty, that you're actually hungry. A lot of times when you're dehydrated, you actually will get hunger pains as well because your body requires water, and it can feel like that you are hungry, not thirsty. So before I started the slow carb diet and the meal plan that I just talked about, what I did was I went out and bought the vitamins that Tim Ferriss talks about. I went out and the night before I started the meal plan itself, I ate something very light. I ate a salad and just kind of really wanted my body to experience the proper foods as I moved into the next day. So I really kept it light and just wanted to give myself the best chance as well. So once I was completed the 6 weeks, I weighed myself again, and I found that I did lose to 10 pounds in 6 weeks, and I didn't have to exercise. All I had to do was change what I ate and how I ate and what time I ate it at. I re-measured myself, so I measured my shoulders again, my chest, my biceps, my belly, my hips, thighs, and calves, and noticed at the end of it, I was actually at 159.6 pounds, or 72.39 kilograms. So I almost lost 5 full kilograms on this diet. So very interesting. What I recommend to you is I would go ahead and start that right away. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what to do. If you are going to be doing this and you're at any health risk or believe you're at any health risk, I would go consult your physician or a dietitian first. Make sure this type of diet is right for you to try and eat. If it is, then great. One of the things you'll probably will notice when you are losing that weight is you'll probably notice that you lose a little bit of muscle mass, and then you'll probably lose a little bit of fat, especially if your scale tells you, what kind of body percentage of fat, muscle, and water you have. You'll notice that in those measurements. So go ahead and let me know what you think about that diet if you do give it a try, or if you have tried that diet, let me know what your thoughts are on it. Let me know what your results were. Were they typical of the similar as mine, or were they a little bit different than what my results were? If you enjoyed this video, please like it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share this video on other platforms if you feel it can help other people achieve their weight goals and health goals as well. Other than that, I hope you have yourself a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.